One of the most polarizing point guards all time, playoff Rondo always shows up in the postseason. There was much anticipation about his impact and difference maker with the Lakers. On quest trying to win the 2020 title, the four-time All-Star has had an up and down career after his tenure with the Celtics, went from being one of the best point guards in the early part of the 2010s decade to a head case, even played for 6 different teams in the 5-year span. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. We'll take a look at how impactful playoff Rondo really is and how crucial he was in big games, especially early in his career. After Boston formed their super team to begin the 08 season, Rondo was an integral part of team chemistry, the facilitator, only 21 and 22 years old at the time, had excellent mentors in KG and Paul Pierce, a stellar second season, 10.5 points, over 5 assists in the regular season. Intriguing upside, a young guy being talked about similar today, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who could become a Rondo type player but a better shooter and reach his full prime if healthy. A good passer, long arms, had his playoff breakout party, Game 5 2008 against the Cavs, 20 points, 13 assists, excellent defense, a series where Ray Allen badly struggled. Boston also wouldn't have won Game 1 of the 08 finals. Rondo chipped in 15 big points, 7 assists, set up his teammates nicely, played 35 minutes his first finals game, left no doubt about his future rise to close out a ridiculous stat line of 21 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 steals. Although Allen, KG, and Pierce got all the praise, Rondo was the one leading his team in transition, wasn't afraid of the moment, became one of the best passers his third season, put up 12 and 8, 2 steals. With Garnett out for the 09 playoffs, Rondo elevated his performance against the Bulls, a classic 7-game series, first 5 games, 29, 9, and 7, followed by 19, 12, and 16, 5 steals, made ridiculous timely plays after timely plays, 20, 11, 6, and 5 steals, followed by 25, 11, and 11. Game 5, 28, 8, and 11, absolutely filthy numbers, went at it with rookie Derrick Rose. Rondo arguably became a top 5 point guard in the league after that series. His type of production took many by surprise. Despite scoring just 8 points in Game 6, dished out 19 dimes, even when his shots weren't falling, always got his teammates involved, found the red-hot Allen, allowing him to shoot timely threes and drop 51. Rondo also got physical with the Bulls, showed toughness, and never backed down. Boston fans gained tremendous respect for their point guard and arguably his best all-around series, 19.5 points, over 9 rebounds, 11.5 assists, almost 3 steals, nearly averaged a triple-double. His team overmatched against the red-hot Orlando Magic in the conference finals. The 23-year-old did not disappoint, averaged over 14 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, over 2 steals. Orlando just a way bigger team. If Garnett was healthy, and seeing how much Rondo improved, Boston would have had a huge shot to repeat. It would have been an all-time classic series with the Lakers. In 2010, Rondo officially made his first All-Star team, right up there with Steve Nash, young D Rose, and young Westbrook. Behind the Chris Paul, Deron Williams debate for the best point guard status, put up nearly 14 and 10, led the league in steals. In the semis against LeBron's 61-win Cavs, a relentless Rondo went toe-to-toe with the back-to-back MVP, at times the best player on the court, and that's not an exaggeration. Easily the best Celtic that series, a monster 27.12 assist Game 1 with Pierce and Allen slowing down here and there. Rondo, in my opinion, had his best all-around playoff game. Down 2-1, Cleveland had all the momentum, blowing him out in Game 3. Rondo responded with 29 big points, got to the lane anytime he wanted, cooked Delonte West and Mo Williams all series, 18 big rebounds, 13 dimes, especially the behind the back in midair, one of his best passes ever, the breakout star of that postseason. Game 4 Rondo absolutely remarkable, easily better than James the last 3 games of the series. His greatness wouldn't stop there. Playoff Rondo absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, out-hustled, and out-muscled backup Magic's point guard Jason Williams. After a Game 1 win, went off for 25 points, 8 assists, stealing Game 2 in Orlando, made one of the most spectacular hustle plays in NBA history, set the tone for Game 3. Rondo just wanted the ball more. The scoop off the glass, that play was highlighted over and over again that postseason. Stellar in the finals too, a 19.12 rebound, 10 assist triple-double Game 2, a clutch block on Derek Fisher late in the game. Boston would not have won the second game without him. Game 5 when Kobe single-handedly kept the Lakers in it. Rondo ruined every Laker moment momentum, 18 big points, 8 big assists, ignited his team in transition, got the best of the slower Fisher, coached by Doc Rivers, who blew a 3-2 lead. Rondo a 14-point, 8 rebound, 10 assist Game 7, an all-out slugfest. If Boston won that series, Rondo believed he could have won Finals MVP. Garnett, Pierce, and Allen wasn't great in Game 7. Even if the C's won, Kobe's still likely Finals MVP in my opinion. Boston a much more balanced and deeper squad. The following year, Rondo made short work of the Knicks, averaged 19 points, 12 dimes for the series, a 30-point Game 2, overshadowed by Melo's 42, sweeping them before going down to Miami in 5 games. D-Wade landed on top of Rondo the third quarter of Game 3, dislocating his elbow, a devastating blow. Many still debate whether that was a dirty play or not. The rest of the series, Rondo basically played with one arm, couldn't really dribble well with his left hand. 7 shots attempts in Game 4, a huge liability down the stretch where his team lost in overtime. Only 30 minutes in Game 5, 5 shot attempts, 6 points, couldn't finish the game. Boston had the lead heading into the 4th but collapsed without their floor general, couldn't buy a basket in crunch time. If Wade didn't land on him, the 2011 series might have gone the distance. 2012, first 2 series versus the Hawks and Sixers, 15.3 points, 7 rebounds, over 12 assists. The last real shot the Celtics had, including a triple-double Game 7 against the Sixers, 18, 10, and 10, 26 years old at the peak of his powers, made his only All-NBA team that season. Defensive second team, the best offensive game of his career. Game 2 versus Miami, single-handedly kept his team in it, drain clutch bombs, a monster 44 points, 8 rebound, 10 assist game, 16 of 24 shooting, played every minute including overtime, fearless in all aspects, just like Dirk in the 2011 postseason. There were whispers discussing Rondo's performance. The team was supposed to be old and finished, but Rondo gave Boston a chance. 21 and 10 in Game 3. LeBron and the Heat just refused to lose. Rondo Game 7, 22, 10, and 14, overshadowed by James and Wade. His 2012 postseason numbers of 17.3 points, 12 dimes, 2.5 steals, literally Magic Johnson-like numbers. That would be the end of the Rondo Boston postseason era. His greatness in Beantown should not be forgotten, stepping up in key moments, really the best player on his team most of the 2010 and 2012 postseason. His Boston playoff numbers, 14.5 points, 6 rebounds, over 9 assists, 92 games. Unfortunately, caught a bad break January 25th, 2013, toward his ACL. Wasn't quite the same again as the C's rebuild post Garnett, Pierce, and Allen era. Rondo didn't want to waste his prime years on a bad team. Traded to Dallas December 18th of 2014. At first looked like a great pickup, but his reputation went downhill from there. It's an absolute travesty how south things went in Dallas, getting into multiple disputes with head coach Rick Carlisle. After an ugly Game 2, Rondo was benched the entire rest of the postseason, uncommitted to Carlisle's play calls. His behavior cost him, couldn't find a real home after the Celtics for a couple seasons. No longer one of the best point guards. The best point guard conversation became Steph Curry versus Chris Paul. Rondo nowhere even close. After a year with the dysfunctional Kings, Rondo teamed up with D-Wade and Jimmy Butler in Chicago. The 8th seed got the best of Isaiah Thomas. The first 2 games of the 2017 playoffs looked like the old Celtics version Rondo. Averaged 11.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, 10 assists, 3.5 steals. Won the first 2 against the number 1 seed, but had an untimely injury, out for the remainder of the playoffs. Hurt his right hand in the second game. The inexperienced Jerry and Grant forced to start. As his replacement, Isaiah Cannon also started. Both couldn't provide much. Boston ended up winning the next 4 without Rondo. After Chicago put up over 100 each of the first 2 games, couldn't crack triple digits the next 4. Landed in New Orleans, full-time starting point guard, teamed up with superstar Anthony Davis, the most successful season AD had with the Pels. Rondo and Drew Holiday's suffocating defense absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, humiliated, locked down Lillard and McCollum. New Orleans had the better backcourt that series, sweeping the Blazers. Rondo averaged over 11 points, 7.5 rebounds, over 13 assists, connected perfectly with Davis on the lobs. Unstoppable at times, nailed the dagger 3 late Game 2, even had a 21 assist game, a playoff career high, making $3.3 million that season. His production, well worth the investment on a team that needs him. Before the 2020 postseason, Rondo's playoff career numbers, 14 points, 6.1 rebounds, 9.3 assists, almost 2 steals, and pretty solid shooting, over 44% for a guy who's a bad shooter. Quality Hall of Fame like numbers. His regular season numbers every year up until 2018, only 10.5 points, under 5 rebounds, 8.5 assists. Comparing his stats, Rondo clearly one-ups his game in the postseason. Also has some terrific moments with the 2020 Lakers. Legit looks like the third best player on his team at times, despite all the critics and Laker fans who call him out after a bad game. Rondo made his presence felt in Game 2 against Houston. 10 points, 9 assists, 5 steals off the bench, 28 minutes, dominated Game 3, 21 points, 9 assists, 8 of 11 shooting, a masterpiece. 3 3-pointers, and 11 point, 10 rebound, 8 assists Game 4, putting up those types of numbers, making the right passes. A playoff Rondo as a bench player, pretty scary team if you ask me. The defense he played in Game 3 versus the Nuggets, forcing many turnovers, nearly coming back. The Lakers still in good position to win the 2020 title, and Rondo will be a key contributor to the LeBron AD team. His chemistry with the bigs, the sneaky backdoor cuts, gives his team a boost, being way more useful than 2020 playoff Patrick overrated Beverly, who was sleeping heavily. Rondo also one of the best bargains, making just over $2.5 million for the 2020 season. What a luxury and pleasure seeing playoff Rondo work his magic, having just a 41% chance probability to make the Hall of Fame. If Rondo wins a second championship and produces the rest of the 2020 playoffs, the Louisville native certainly has a strong case to be honored in Springfield sometime in the late 2020s decade. Thank you so much for watching this video. What's your favorite memory of playoff Rondo? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for more content, more good stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.